only a matter of time before Saka Subs opens up right there in Ventnor. You happy about that?
I love Saka Subs. They used to be my neighbors.
Ventnor Theater. Get some idea where the construction is going to go on. It should be open by the springtime, it looks like. Oh, look, the Ventnor Square Theater. Some other big lots, too. It's interesting to see big lots. And it says here, it's theater employee parking only. I would assume the people that own this, I can't assume that. Ventnor Square Theater.
It's going to be for sale.
Yeah. This is a good neighborhood. Good neighborhood. Oh, I was taking pictures of the guy, the 4A bikes. I love 4A bikes. Did you ever go in there?
I love 4A bikes too. They are so great, so friendly, always take care of your problems. I trust them. Like, that's the most important thing. Like, he gave me
a loaner bike when he fixed something where my wheel broke. They just go above and beyond, and the prices are always, I find it to be really fair. Because, you know, when you go drop off your car or you drop off your bike, you got to trust the person and how they're going to price the fix, or whether do you really need that fixed. But I highly endorse 4A bikes in Ventnor, and Mike Wiesen over there is awesome. And look at the selection share of bells that you can put on your handlebars. You know,
Jesus,
every pedal. This place, I don't know how they get all this in here, but I just it's like a museum. Baskets. 4A bikes, you got to love it right there in Ventnor. And really I love biking, as you know, Cher.
Yes, I've often run into you on the boardwalk on your bike. But yeah, that's where I go when I need anything for my bikes or service on my bikes. They've been great.
All right, boys, I'm going to have to rock and roll. I got a 12:30 here. You guys are the best.
All right, we'll talk to you soon, Paul. Paul Skolich from
Thanks.
rate.com. We'll talk to you then.
Thanks.
All right. Okay, now we can talk about Paul, right?
Paul's the best. He always
All right,
helps.
sure. So let me go through my slideshow. I know Paul was thinking that we're going to go through a lot of stuff, but I took some pictures over the past few days, and these photos make me sad. Sorry, we're closed for the winter. One of my favorite places to go eat. That's why you always hear me moaning and groaning about, you know, long-term rentals and year-round residency. That's something that Margate wanted to make sure we can invite people in to stay in Margate or the Downbeach area year round. But when you see all your favorite places shut down once Labor Day rolls around, man. I also picked up some other pictures here. Jim Kennedy, he is from the Atlantic City Econ. He has a Twitter page. I think he's an old CRDA guy. I can't remember exactly his role, but he reminds us the CRDA hired armed security for their Atlantic City office. That might, tell you what's a real problem, that the CRDA needed to hire security guards. Jim Kennedy also said this. Atlantic City has experienced total failure in resolving significant social issues. It's a remarkable record of failure. Public housing, homeless, drugs, a food desert. It's a failure woven into the fabric of the city. That's crazy. And I bring that up is because a healthy Atlantic City would help everybody. Granted, it doesn't kill Margate or Ventnor or Brigantine. It'd be kind of nice if a safe, prosperous town was right next door. Jim Kennedy also brings up the fact, this is his Twitter feed, the CRDA meetings, that's the Casino Reinvestment Development Authority, they're still being held telephonically, meaning they're calling it in. They're not doing live meetings, even 2 years after COVID closed down all the public meetings. That's not good. The CRDA still not having public meetings.
So a lot of companies that people are still all remote, and like when they're asking them to come in, they're complaining. Like my daughter works for a company, and I won't say the company is very, very big company. And she's like, I have to be in 3 days a week. I'm like, well, you used to have to be in 5 days a week. Like, why is that a problem all of a sudden?
Here's some more. He talks about how the Atlantic City campus of Stockton was a brilliant real estate play, but has an academic purpose which falls far short of the necessity for 1,000 dorm rooms. The campus could be anchored with an enhanced travel and tourism program, and the addition of the Atlantic Cape Community College culinary courses will have a significant impact. They're still not using all that building the right way. They built 1,000 dorm rooms. He's taking a shot at them saying, why'd you build 1,000 dorm rooms. You don't need them. I love it. I love the fact that Stockton's there, but it's not hustling and bustling as much as we would have hoped.
Yeah,
Oh, here's
I
a picture
know.
of me. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I know, like when that whole Stockton development came, like a lot of the commercial properties around it, like coffees, like people thought, wow, this is really going to help the commercial business around Stockton, because usually around college towns and students, there's a lot of commerce. There's a lot of, coffee shops and pizza places and those midnight cookie places, but we haven't really seen that for some reason. And that's, I think, the disappointment. What are you doing? Where are you going with all this?
Do you know what that is? That's behind your good friend Patty, our good friend Patty's house. Her neighbor is putting some kind of shotcrete structure behind her house right there in Lower Chelsea. So they're using shotcrete to build out this pool deck. Does that make sense?
She told me it was like going to be like a second floor pool, and she has the plans. She's trying to figure it out. Yeah, it's kind of
we're all trying to figure it out. I know.
Interesting, but she did share the plans with me. I just don't remember them offhand.
And there's Patty right there. Yeah. Her house is almost ready to move in and have that big party for us to come on over.
Yep.
There's the mayor, the former mayor, Mr. Guardian, Jesse Kurtz. Jesse Kurtz is the councilman for the 6th Ward, Lower Chelsea in Atlantic City. He does a pretty good job. He got reelected. Of course, so did Don Guardian as assembly. So congrats to those guys. Oh, here's the shotcrete. But the rebar, the structure, it's amazing how fast they build these things. We're seeing that more often. I mean, this is above ground shotcrete. I normally see shotcrete for pools though, right? Sure.
Yeah, I'm just amazed by this whole thing. Just like right by the boardwalk and the beach, and I don't know.
These are properties that were sitting there for ages. So what do you think what do you think anything happened where they said, hey, let me start building on this thing? Why would it sit for a decade?
I think what happened is all the properties around there, including Patty's property, sat for a really long time. So the person building that pool, I believe, owns that house right next to it, right? Yeah. But did they own that property, or did they buy that property to build this? They bought that property to build that, and I think there were a few other lots around it as well, including Patty's, which she's building on. So they felt, I'll get to it. I'll get to my pool. There's all these properties. I'm going to negotiate really hard because these properties are sitting. And then when they started going, I think they felt like, well, if I don't move now, it's going to get bought and I'm never going to be able to put my pool in for my family.
But it's relatively cheap to buy property in Atlantic City, relatively.
Well, yeah, relative to a Longport lot in the same location. Obviously, we don't have the boardwalk there, but yeah.
But this neighborhood, Lower Chelsea, is being discovered. Obviously, it's finally being discovered as a prime Atlantic City property.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, it's not like the area where the other CRDA, part of CRTA is where they have to have full-time security. You're walking on the boardwalk. You don't know this is Atlantic City versus Ventnor. You're walking, and it's all the same to you.
And this property is behind the pool, so it looks like this might finally go. It's for sale for sure. Mm-hmm. Crazy, huh?
Yep. Okay.
Another sign: the Healthy Hippo. Sorry, closed for the winter. What the hell? All right, this has been going on for over a year, and
I know what this is,
and we know that the city has been identified. But if you zoom in on some of this stuff, this is an Airbnb property. Look at that! Look at the rebar. Look at the cracking, the spalling, and the patch jobs. And I noticed over the things just look horrendous. And if you come over to the right here, underneath this eave here. What a crappy patch job this is on the far right of your screen. You don't know what the hell this is, but I can tell you, this is a property where they've had gunfire. This is an Airbnb or a short-term rental of some sort. And this is the front of the house. You walk past, it's a highly trafficked street in Ventnor. And you can't see that? How do you get away with this?
Is that there's a deck over that. Okay. So clearly there's some structural issues to that.
That's a big
deck.
Yeah,
and if it's an Airbnb, people like to have parties, be outside, and kaboom, that's a collapse waiting to happen. Unfortunately, they really, as a homeowner, as the Airbnb owner, from a liability standpoint, put your money in and fix it. You're going to have a lawsuit on your hands.
The bigger story is that I believe these seashore towns don't have enough manpower to inspect and go around, because this had to be caught. At the very least, it should be caught once or twice a year, right?
Well, enforcement is a big issue in any town.
Yeah.
And anytime, like even when I was talking about my plastics ordinance with the builders, who's going to enforce it? Who's going to enforce it? Again, people need to know, like, everybody has to help with enforcement. You see something, you need to call it in, because they don't have the time. Most municipalities don't, to drive around and look for violations. They depend on the people in the neighborhoods to call them and notify them and let them know. And then they will show up and enforce it. That is
one of the big vulnerabilities of short-term rentals. They need to be inspected because they go through a certain wear and tear. Up on that second floor deck, there's 10, 20, 30 kids up there having a good time, having parties. Nothing wrong with that, but I would never want to. I would walk in, I say, what's all this about? I would want my money back. This has been going on for over a year, and this is not a house.
Yeah, you've been complaining you've been bringing up this house. Have you called the city? Come on.
Other people have called. I told them to call neighbors, and there you go. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let me just say, I've been talking about it online and through video and pictures.
I know, but somebody.
Listen, this is a bad one. Yeah,
you said this was Ventnor, right? Ventnor had some issues with code enforcement in general.
Yes, they do.
So they were preoccupied a bit.
That's right.
Okay?
Yeah, somebody was getting money for permits or something, and they put it in a shoebox, and we lost track of all of that. Yeah, that kind of whatever.
They were under a big internal audit investigation, finding the evidence. Yes, there was a person working there that was taking cash. Now there's a big criminal charge against that person. But they were involved in this whole internal audit situation. So
right down the street, the Vassar Square, all these condos, all these high rises are working on their exterior, fixing spalling and replacing things. They're taking it serious. And if you're a condo owner, you're paying some big time assessments, but you have to do it, especially if you're along the coast with salt water and with collapses of what we saw in Sea Isle City or down in Florida. People are digging deep to spend a lot of money to upgrade and make safer their condos. And you can see Watts Restoration. They've been working for the past couple of weeks on the Vassar Square. It's interesting to watch how the crews go to work here.
Not a job I would want.
No, but
I'm afraid of heights like that. I'll be on the other side of the railing.
And this is very typical. I'm walking by just minding my own business, and women come up to me and they try to, talk with me. It's kind of weird, but I get through it. These are my pickleball girls. These are the pickleball ladies.
I figured. Yeah.
See how happy are they?
Look at
Yeah.